Is it Brian Ager?
Agen, I'm sure.
Agen.
Start with my handwriting. How do I follow that? Anyhow, first of all, I want to say thanks to the board for your service to the community. I know it's not an enviable position at times. You deal with all sorts of opinions, right? Everyone's got them. So I work hard when I talk about things to frame it out there for my opinion. And I work hard to talk about things that I think that are factual based on my professional expertise. So I'll try not to bore you with more opinions and share just a couple perspectives I have based on my professional experience outside of the Waterford district. I'm a taxpayer in the district. I'm married to a fine teacher in the district. And I sent 2 boys, well, one's still muddling his way through Miss Marple's school. And I want to preface this by saying that I was a strong supporter of Act 10. I still am. With Act 10 comes all sorts of flexibility to run school districts, and I think better ways than maybe they've been run in the past. But with that came a burden and a tremendous responsibility on shoulders of boards and administrations around the state to now have that one-on-one interface with our teacher base, where historically we could refer to a contract to kind of govern and manage people. Today we have to rely on that leadership capability of boards like yourselves, and frankly more important, amongst the administration. My concern is this: I've witnessed some discussions on, I don't believe everything I see on the internet, but I do believe some of the stuff I see that shows up out there. I've witnessed some discussions and I sense this board, perhaps this administration, struggling a little bit with some of the responsibilities that come with this new management style required to interact directly with teachers. And just at one of the data points, Mr. Yoke discussed it, Dan mentioned it, exit survey processes. There is no industry out in the world that is going to run an exit survey process like proposed here at Waterford Graded. I handle an exit survey process for a very large company, I'm going to tell you. There's better ways to do it. I'm happy to be a resource for the school to show you how you can set up a nice system, very low cost, let people give feedback anonymously, and also something that there's a lot of debate, who should see what, right? If I'm on the board, just like I'm responsible for 7,000 employees around the world, I don't want to see each individual exit interview, but I want to see what's trending around the world. Who's leaving us? What are they saying, why they're leaving us? And that's the type of report out I think that the board deserves, and frankly, I beat the punch to some of the naysayers and put it in the paper and publish it because it ends up publicly great. And you know, as a side note, I'm not a real big fan of folks pulling that stuff out that's really private discussions between a district and a former employee and slapping it out on the web. That's not a good way to do effective exit interviews too. But I think the public likes those because they're juicy, right? So we all focus on what do the people that are leaving say, and I just asked the school to take a step back and the board to focus a little less about the exit interview data. It still needs to be tracked and reported on, but more importantly is the data that we collect from our current workforce. It's only by the grace of God they're not exit data yet, too, right? That's how I view it. And in fact, sometimes worst case, they're not exit data. They're staying put, and they may be just as disengaged as that individual that left the building. So where I work, we've shifted our focus on the engagement of employees. What is that emotional connection that an employee can make with their employer? And it really lies on 3 levels of trust. Trust with their boss, trust with senior management, I guess I'd say from a board perspective, and trust with coworkers. If we can build and foster trust amongst our workforce, we'll drive employee engagement. Engaged employees submit discretionary effort towards their jobs. We don't have to pay them more. There are white people like my wife who are in here half the summer without an extra dime. We don't have to pay them more, we don't have to treat them different, but it's based on a relationship of trust. And my sense is there's a little bit of missing there. I looked at some data that was online, and again, if it's not factual, I apologize, but in May of 13 we did a survey. I don't know exactly how it was written, it's a little strange, some of the questions, but some of the questions were pretty good. And it talked about, would you refer a friend or a relative to work for this? 20%, only 20% of the workforce would refer someone to come work for Waterford Graded. Only 20% said they would say the same thing if they had to put their name on it. And only 50% said this environment has a poor climate. These are bleak statistics. Now, coming out of I'll say the maelstrom of Act 10, we might expect in year 1, year 2, there's still some growing pains. But year 3 and 4, that's kind of behind us now. So these engagement data, and I don't know if we're going to repeat that, I think it's only worthwhile if we repeat it and show trends. They're not report outs on employees, they're report outs on management. say, those darn teachers. Why are teachers always unhappy? I live with one. Sometimes they are unhappy, right? But they're no different than you or I generally. Teachers get unhappy because, and people get unhappy because we don't treat them the right way from a leadership perspective. So once we make the shift, the engagement's on our shoulders, leaders, and start to drive those elements that foster trust, then we can start drive that discretionary effort amongst our teachers and see engagement rise. We end up with a better product, our students, we end up with a happier workforce, and I as a taxpayer think I'm getting a better buck for my deal. So just some comments. I'm happy. I work a lot with this every day. I'm happy to be a resource for the board or the administration. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.